Good morning everyone and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and today we're up with more Eiffel store and we're going to do this one. This one was requested. This is a pirate girl, and as you can see she's got a lovely heart-shaped eye patch there. Now I have tried to do a little bit of organisation today, and we're using Snap Click Supply. It's Fancy Pants Down by the Shore, and I think it's called Down by the Sea. But if you look at Fancy Pants, click on the design bar on Snap Click Supply, all the designers drop down. If you go to Fancy Pants, you'll see these. Right, so I've done my card base, and it's quite simple. Well, you know, it's kind of journally striped paper for writing. It's got a little whale and it's got some blue ocean scrolls, but I want my whale to be 3D. So what I did was I printed off the button in that kit, and I'm going to cut that out. I printed out the sunshine there, which says a bright sunshine day. And I also printed out this piece of boat sort of yacht style ephemera to go in the background, and hopefully I'm going to be able to build some dimension. Now to cut those circle things out, the yacht I'm going to do with scissors, but I always throw spare circle dies or circle dies of any circle die into a bag, and I usually end up with something that I want or need. So, you know, in old sets where I'm sure a lot of us, well I do, lose parts, but if there's a circle, I always put it in this bag and it's never failed me. There's always something that's going to fit something that needs cutting out that is round. So I'm going to use something in that bag to cut those out, and we're going to use these colours today. So we've got Napoleon Blue, which is 72. We've got 36 Cream, which is what we used yesterday. The 120 is the black, 2 is all red, and 135 is pale cherry pink. And if you watched yesterday's, I'll also be using the Jane Davenport palette to do the cheeks. Right, but first up, I need to run away. I need to fussy cut my yacht. I need to use my circle dies to cut out these. And of course, out of just white cardstock, the Amazon heavyweight again, I'm going to cut out the entire die, and then we'll use the markers to colour it. Right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've been away. This is the pirate girl. This is all of the pieces that will make her. But this is the base of the card, and I want to do this first. So I fussy cut the whale, I fussy cut the little boat, and I've used a circle die to cut out a bright sunshiny day up there. So I want this to be dimensional and that. So to do this the way that I want to do it, I'm just going to apply some glue to the top of my whale. And I'm going to pop it on sort of like roughly where I think I want it. I'm going to have it about there. And now that I've got my whale glued on, I can flip it over and start applying my foam pads, because then everything is going to be at the same level. So that pad's going to hold the whale to the boat. Whoops, make sure I've got nothing stuck under there. And then just working my way around here. Now nothing is going to go behind this, so I don't mind going up to the edges. So I'll just finish putting the foam pads on and come back. Right, so that's what that looks like, and I've peeled the backs off of those foam pads, and I need to position it where I want it. Now obviously I need to hide this printed whale, so I'm going to go about there. So I've got my little boat and I've got my little whale, and that's 3-dimensional. And then behind there, I'm also going to put some foam pads. I always like to put plenty on. And foam pads are so expensive in the stores, and Dollar Tree really is the best place to get them, because you can probably get 2 cards like this out of a roll of foam pads. I'm just going to push my chair in slightly closer and bring this down so I can see where I'm putting it. I'm going to go there. And then my pirate girl is going to go kind of in this region. So that's the card base done. And now we need to do the pirate girl. So I'm just going to get my scruffy mat and I'll be right back. Right, I've got my scruffy mat, and the first thing I want to do is glue the flag. Now I've cut that in black cardstock and also white so that it's got a little bit more chunkiness to it, and hopefully that's going to be visible when it's on the card. So I just need to glue it down, just going around it there, and pop the black one on top of the white one and line it up. If you've got a little bit of overhang, it doesn't matter. It kind of adds a little bit of dimension, if you know what I mean. And then we need to glue on the skull and bones. Just a little bit there. So this is a really quick one to do, and try and fit it in. And I'm just going to pop it there. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, the flagpole on the website is red. So I'm just going to go down it with old red. Just using my broad tip to do this. And I can see that I've just got red on my fingers. Now that's something you need to watch out for, because you don't want to, you know, be colouring the face of the pirate in and you've got some red. So I would suggest some alcohol hand sanitizer on a piece of kitchen paper and get off as much of that red as you can. Sometimes I find washing the dishes with Dawn soap is what does it for me. So right on this edge here, it's embossed. Now I'm going to pick it up and see if we can get some. You can see it's got a lovely little embossed edge all the way around it. So I'm going to use that as the line for my flagpole. And hopefully I can get teeny weeny little bits of glue out there. So I've got a nice little dotted line. I'm going to get my pickup tool and hopefully it's going to work. And if not, I'm going to have to pick it up with my fingers and try and get it straight. Right down onto the edge there. And of course I've got some glue, but I don't want to get onto my my skull, because I want that to stay white. Right, so that is the flagpole done. Just going to move that there to dry. Now, while I've got red on my sheet here, the hat is actually done in red, but the dots are pink. So I'm going to see if I can't do a flat brush across the top of this and see if we can't get it two-tone. It might not. If it ends up completely red, then that's the way that it's got to be. So I'm just dotting in my pink there. I'm going to lay that there. I'm going to get the broad tip of the red and see what happens. We can but hope, that's all I say. So I'm just going to go, yeah, It's not going to pick the lines up, but that's okay. Just get rid of that white edge there. Because I do know that on the website the dots are paler, and I know that if I apply anything onto here, what it's going to do is actually make the dots darker. But I may go ahead and do that anyway. And it's probably showing up that way. So what I'm going to do is touch up those dots with the pink and see what happens. I think it should look okay. There, we've got some different tone in it. I can see I've got a little bit of a white edge there, and usually what I do is just put it down flat on the mat and just go around it with my brush. Right, so we've got the hat and we've got the flag. Now I'm just going to make sure that I've got my yuck up, because we're going to go in and we're going to do some white. And on this little tiny pirate shirt, she's actually got red stripes. That is not an easy thing to achieve, and usually what I would do is get out my oh, I've forgotten what they're called. I'm just going to grab them. Here they are, Manami, real fine tip, and I'm going to go with that colour, I think. So I'm just going to unlock the palette. You do get loads, and they do last such a long time. Yeah, lots of colours. So I'm going to go with, ooh, yeah, I'm just going to go with the red, because I don't know whether that one's going to be too pink. I'm putting it down there. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the red. Right, just going to move that palette out of the way. And we need to do the sleeves. And you can see what I mean, just really tiny stripes. And that's probably pretty much as it is on the website, actually. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that like that. And then across the body, you've got to build it up. And I'm just going to have mine like that. I mean, if you want to do it a full colour, then you can. And I'm just wondering, actually, if I'm not going to go over that with some pink ink and see what happens. There. I think I like that better. So now she's got a little stripy top, and I think my camera just went blurred. There we go. And I'm going to get that mess up. And I'm going to do the hair next, because the hair is brown. So I'm just going to use this one. This is one that we used yesterday, and it's called Cream. And I'm just going all the way around it. Just circular motions. Just stay with your wet edge and you'll be fine. See, it's really quick to do. I mean, you can use colour papers to do what you're doing, but, you know, sometimes I just can't bother to get all my different colours of cardstock out, and so it can end up being quicker just using a marker. Right, and now I'm going to go all over it. That's going to even the colour up now that the card is all saturated. See my paper sliding along the desk. I'll straighten that up. Go around the edges. Right, now you can see you've got wavy lines, and I want to use those wavy lines. I've just picked up some paper fluff on my tip. So I'm just going to touch those wavy lines up. Nice thing about alcohol markers, the more you apply, the darker the shade. So it can sometimes be that you don't need a load of pens to achieve the same thing. I do the same thing with stamping as well. You know, when you do those flower stamps that are quite realistic, and I just use the same colour and just stamp it more times. Just keep going over and over it. And I'm quite happy with that effect. So we've got the hair now, and the next thing that I need to do is the face. And then I'm just going to run away and finish the rest of it because I'm just looking at the clock and it's creeping up. Right, now then, find a clean spot there. And we're using the pale cherry pink for the face. And I'm just going to go, actually I'm going to use the broad tip for this. And just go all the way along it. There, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to move her out of the way. Don't know if I've got some fluff on her face. And if you look at yesterday's video, you'll see how I applied blush to the cheeks, and you'll be able to go and look at that to know what I'm going to do off camera, which is put a little bit of blush on and colour these other little bits up, which are basically just black, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what I'm up to so far. We've done the hair, the scarf, I've put the face together. If you need to know how to put a face together, watch yesterday's video. We've got the flag, we've got the little top, the skirt, we've got the legs, and then I've got these three divided up by colour. So I'm going in with my pale colour here. This is the tops of the boots. These are the arms. Sometimes it's quite nice and quick to arrange things in that way. And then I went and fetched lemon yellow, which is lemon yellow 35. And that is for the boot buckles, the earring, and also the belt buckle. And then these two odd looking things here, those are the boots. Yes, tiny little boots and tiny little belt. And using the darker shade, the same for the hair, so you don't have to get, you know, like hundreds of pens out onto your table. Right, now the earring, I believe, goes into the left ear, so hopefully my glue is still flowing. Just squeeze it out on a scrap over here, and I'm just going to put a little touch there on her ear, just a tiny little dot of glue. I'm going to use my pickup tool, she says, hopefully, and pick that up. And I'm just going to pop the earring on. So there she has her little gold hoop earring. Now, if you haven't got it in the right place, you know, just push it over and then squish it flat and the glue will grab it. So now she's got her earring and she's looking very piratey, I have to say. Now, these two little boots, if I can move those, there we go. And the buckles go right down by the toes. Now that's quite a large blob of glue, but that's okay. I'm just gonna, because I can squish any excess off with a finger, and I'm hoping I can pick these up. I'm gonna put one down there. You will find, because it's a small item and a big blob of glue, that you may end up, you know, hoisting things into the air where you didn't want them. But just give it a squidge and then pop it down, and you should be okay. Now I want to clean that little bit up in there. I keep the same piece of kitchen paper that's got, you know, all my other colours on, so you can get away with using just a sheet of paper in a session. And those little boots need to dry. Make sure your fingers clean when you're squishing them, because that will help them to dry quicker. There you go, I've got it stuck to my fingernail. Flipped it over, flip it over again. Now on the belts we've got the buckle, so that needs to be glued in the center. So I'm just going to put, oops, a tiny little touch of glue there. Remember, I'm going to squish it down so all that glue that's in the middle is going to vanish. Pop that down there, and then my little finger is clean, and I'm just going to squash that flat there. So that basically needs to dry. But onto these bits, I've got to add just a little touch to the tops of my tiny, tiny little boots and put the cuffs on them, or the little turn down bits, and they go on there. And I hope I got them the right way around. Right, I'm going to let that dry and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've rearranged a few things into areas where they need to go, and the hair is a really important piece, because if you look at that, you can see that the head is embossed into that back piece that I've left almost white there. Hope you can see that. And that is where the head is going to be glued. So that's a really important feature, and if I squiggle her over, get her into the embossed section, you can see that. And of course then her hat goes on there, which gives her a lot more character. Now all of that can be glued down, but we need to put the arms onto the little jumper first, and the way that I do things is I like to do the arms and then pick the big bit up and just take it to it. So I just put a blob there and a blob there. And then just marry up the sleeve and pick it up. And the same here. This arm is going to be holding the flag. So now you've got her little hands on her little body. So that's that piece that can then be glued onto the neck. So I'm just going to remove that. I'm going to pop a bead of glue down here. And then I can pick this up and just take it over to her neck there and give it a press. So now she's got her little jumper on. And you should be able to lift it up like that. And then onto there will go the skirt. So I'm going to pop just right along the edge of that black skirt there. And then I'm going to pick her up, bring her over, pop her down and give it a press. And to lift up my excess glue. I always use my fingers to grab that excess glue. It's just a really useful thing to do. And silicone mats are absolutely brilliant. And of course she's got a little belt around her waist. So hopefully my pickup tool is going to work. Sorry, my throat's going again. We're just going to pop that little detail around her waist. So now she's got her little belt on. And you can press that flat too. Now the legs, we don't know in what configuration we're going to pop those underneath the skirt, but we can pop glue along the bottom. I'll try to take my time so that if you do get these dies, it's a good reference for you. And then she's got that little pirate boot with her little buckles. And that's stuck. So I'm going to let that glue for a few seconds and I'll be right back. Okay, so I think that's okay. And the next thing is to have a line of glue along the top of the leg. And then picking up the largest piece again, position the skirt onto there, and then press down. Now, while the glue is still wet, you can decide whether you want the legs closer together, which I think I do. So I'm going to I'm pressing that, but at the same time, I'm going to lift her up and just finagle it. There. I'm going to go with that and press down. So you can see all of those pieces now, we've only got 4 pieces on the table. Just keep getting my bits of mess up. And then the next thing to do is you want all of your glue into the hair area where it's embossed. So you just got to pick her up, and the thing that I try to look for is the ears, because I figure if I've got the ear down right, then everything else is going to be correct. Now you can see that her arms and everything are kind of like lifted forward. So to get over that, we're just going to turn her to her side so I can see. And I'm just going to put a little bead of glue and pop her hand down so that she's quite literally just fixed to her hair. And then holding that down, a little bead of glue again, and just press. And that should do that. Right, now the next thing, and you'll know we didn't put any glue to the edge of the hands there, and that is to put her pirate flag in there. If I just lift up her hand, just gently there, apply a little bit of glue, and you'll see once again that the hair is a support for the flag. So I've just put the hand section down there. Should really let something like that dry. And then off the edge of the hair, I put a blob to hold the flag down there in that region. Okay. So now she's the pirate lady with her flag. Now the next thing to do is to put on, I don't know what you call these. I'll call it a bandana-y doodah thing. That kind of goes in that region there. So you can see that we've got that little bit of space above the head and the hair. And that's where I'm going to put my line of glue. And then I'm just going to pick a little hat up. Try to find that edge. And pop it down. Right, I'll just let that dry for a second and I'll be right back. Right, so now that she's all but dry, I can just flip her over and I can pop some foam pads onto the back. Now I'm going to stay away from the edges because I don't know what she's going to be clashing with or touching when I put her down. I actually want her on the card base, standing on that yacht if possible, you know, the one that I fussy cut right at the beginning. So I'm going to give her head a lot of support. And then I'm going to grab that card base and see what it looks like before I do anything else. Right, so flipping that over, I want her to stand on the yacht. So there she is on the deck of her ship. So I'm looking at where things are. And I'm going to have to double up on some of the foam. Because she's actually, you know, in the region of this, so she needs doubles. And then I need another one to go on top of there and on top of there. Right, that should be enough to do it, I hope. So just going to take the backs off of these. And hopefully these single foam pads are going to make contact with the boat. So pick that up and let's have a look. No, it's not quite right. Remember, you're never fully committed until you press down. There. Ooh, I really like that. And then she's got her little legs and she's got her flag. And then just to finish that off, tiny little squirt of glue under each of the feet. I can get my bottle going. And a little bit for the flagpole. Don't know if I kind of went off a bit there. Push that down. And then with a clean finger, after you've done all that work, because you don't want to mess it up, just press those bits down to hold them firmly. That should do it, I hope. And we have our little pirate girl on board her little yacht with her whale. She's got the waves in the background. So, you know, we're utilising that printed paper. And as I said, it's fancy pants. So if you click on that on Snap Click Supply, you'll get to see all their packs and you'll find this one that has all of the elements and the papers in it. But I just think that's really sweet. And of course, there's plenty of space there for a birthday sentiment up there or down here, or even add more fish if you want to. I mean, I could totally print off another whale, a bigger one, and put it in there, you know. So, yeah. I thank you so much for joining me today. I don't know if I gave you a close-up. The camera's not so good. Sometimes if I wiggle it around to the... Oh, there we go. And as I was saying, I do thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be up tomorrow with... I've got a small personal haul to share and paper cuts from the haul that I got a couple of weeks ago that I didn't get a chance to share. So now that she's made up, we can measure. And I'm pretty sure I made her, according to the website, she's just over 3¼ standing, and then the width with the flag is 4 inches. But I just think she's so sweet. Right, have an absolutely awesome day. Thank you so much for watching, and as usual, all links below. Bye.